It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is the official post-fight review for Joe Cordina versus Edward Vazquez. The result of the fight is a Joe Cordina majority decision in what was a tough fight between two very high-level super featherweights, 130-pounders. Now, this was Joe Cordina's first defense of the IBF title, and it was a tough one because, Vazquez, he's a guy that when you look at his record, he was 15 and 1 with 3 knockouts, not a lot of power, but does a lot of things very well in there. And he showed it in this fight because Cordina, who's been getting some big highlight reel knockouts, most notably against the guys like Kenichi Ogawa, that big right hand that ironed out Ogawa, I thought Vazquez did a good job of making Joe put that in his pocket and limiting that. You saw Vazquez many times throughout this fight smother Joe, turn Joe, use footwork and angles to change the angles of his punches on Joe. And defensively, he was very tight and responsible. So I thought overall was a really good performance. I thought the commentary, as per usual with Sky Sports and Tony Bellew and Matchroom, was bullshit because Cordina could land or not land any punches against Vazquez, and you would hear about how there was just a touch of class from the Welshman Joe Cordina, and then when he would get clipped with two straight right hands in a row, they say, oh, he's setting traps. So I thought the commentary was very one-sided. It was a good fight. I think there were a lot of swing rounds. There were some rounds where I thought the sharpness of Cordina and the ability to punch to the body and punch around the guard and sharpshoot was winning him some of those rounds. But also, I do think in large part the commentary, and maybe even by some of the judges, the defense of Vazquez, the craftiness of Vazquez, the footwork of Vazquez, the body punching of Vazquez, the volume punching of Vazquez, I thought all those things were really well. And it's just unfortunate because I was watching the fight with my dad, and by the time the 8th and 9th round came, I told my dad, I told Pops, I said, listen, Pops, this guy is not getting a decision. Even if he wins by a round in a close fight, he's just not going to get a decision. This is Monte Carlo. This is the same venue where Kal Yafai got a gross gift decision over Israel Gonzalez back in 2018. And they're not about to give this fight to Edward Vazquez. So do I think this is robbery? No, I'm not going to say it's a robbery. I think it would have been fair to have either guy. You could have had Vazquez winning 115-113, Cordina winning 115-113, or you could have had it a draw, and I would have no qualms about it. It was that close of a fight. I don't think either guy fully imposed what they were trying to do in the fight, and there was a lot of nip and tuck action, a lot of back and forth, right? But I'll say this. Cordina did not look like his normal sensational stuff like we saw in the Rakhimov fight or the Ogawa fight. And one thing that Edward Vazquez was right about that he said in the press conference was that, when he fought Raymond Ford, he made an excuse why he didn't perform at his normal level. And now, again, we hear Cordina making excuses as to why he didn't perform to his normal level. So Vazquez might be a 15-2 fighter, but I don't look at him quite like that. I look at him as a guy who could easily have the case be 17-0. It's just that boxing politics won't ever allow him to win those kind of fights in those type of scenarios. So it's kind of feel like Vazquez, in a sense, he's becoming kind of like the new Adrian Granados, and I hate saying that, but he's kind of got some of the same things. He's good enough at his optimal weight to compete with the best guys in the world, but he doesn't have the punching power. And he's just flawed enough to where the fights will always be close enough for there to be a decision to go against him. So, hopefully, listen, I want to see him again. I wouldn't mind seeing one of these guys fight each other again. But it was definitely a great fight. As for Cordina, he was huge compared to Vazquez, and he wasn't able to impose himself. And I just think when you look at some of the bigger 130-pounders in the division, guys like Navarrete or even a guy like O'Shaquie Foster. These are all fights that I think he needs to be taken because, he needs to unify the division, or he needs to try to at least. I think he does have a hard time making the weight. I think Cordina going out to 135 probably is going to be the move soon. But I'm going to say it like this, and I want to get out in front of it. If he fights Lee Wood or something like that next, that's complete bullshit. And he needs, and I will criticize him to no end for it, because he was running his mouth this week about how, you know, he doesn't want to fight O'Shaquie Foster because he feels there's no money in it for him. Well, listen, you just fought Edward Vazquez. Edward Vazquez is not a big name himself. O'Shaquie Foster is a bigger name than Edward Vazquez, and O'Shaquie Foster is a world champion. So it's a unification fight. So you can't be talking that money, hiding behind business. That's to be honest with you, that's kind of soft. And I don't like that from the wall. I don't like that from Joe Cordina. I like Joe Cordina. I don't want to talk bad about him, but that's a soft and a lame excuse to not fight O'Shaquie Foster. So for me, for my money, I think O'Shaquie Foster and Joe Cordina is the next fight in the division to make. Edward Vazquez was very adamant in the post-fight interview, which I thought was pretty awesome. He said that pretty much all the champions are going to run through Cordina. And he said that, you know, Cordina didn't beat him because his daddy, Eddie Hearn, took care of him as the promoter. So make of it what you will. I mean, I'm not going to be angry about the fight. I think it was a great fight. I still want to see Vazquez in the ring. I got a lot of respect for the kid, Vazquez. And to me, he's definitely a top shelf world championship level caliber fighter. He's shown it time and time again. He beat the brakes off Raymond Ford. They robbed him there. Ford's about to fight for a world title against Otabek Komotov. He fought Cordina, who some consider to be the best 130-pounder in the world, and gave him all he could handle, and arguably could have got a decision. So he has nothing to hold his head about. You know, I still think there's great fights for him. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Otar Aronosian or the winner of Lamont Rhodes versus Hector Garcia or something like that, because I think there's great fights for him, and he's definitely a fighter worth watching. You know, I'm more impressed with Vazquez than Cordina, because I have higher expectations for Cordina, but Cordina looks like a dead man walking out the weight, and I don't even think he should entertain a Lee Wood fight. If you're weight drained already, just go up to 35. Don't even waste nobody's time. We don't give a damn about Lee Wood. If you're not gonna fight, if you're not fighting O'Shaquie Foster, Navarrete, or unification fights like that, then you're wasting your time. So Cordina gets the victory in a very fun fight. Didn't look like his best, but still did a lot of great things, a lot of good things in there. Against a very formidable opponent in Edward Vazquez. So let me know what you guys think. How did you score it? Is there anybody out there that thinks Edward Vazquez won? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.